Hi, everybody. Jim Klauck here on the Phenomenal Business Growth Podcast. I have another Inner Circle member joining me today here on the podcast. Before we get to Corey Peterson, I just want to hope and wish all of you a phenomenal day. Corey, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Jim. Thank you very much. How are you doing, sir?
It is great. You're wonderful. Are you phenomenal? That's the question.
Always phenomenal, but I can't copy all you guys.
Yeah. Well, it's a phenomenal place to be. In a few moments, we're going to talk about your involvement with Howard Partridge and the Inner Circle. But before that, I want to learn a little bit about you and your business. I understand you've been working in the business, which I guess you'd call a family business, for decades. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the company, I started working here for my parents, doing things nobody else wanted to do when I was about 12 years old. But then I started actually doing installations of our computer systems when I started at 15. And then did more installations while I went to college and things like that. And then once I got out of college, started working here full time. We're in software industry. We develop software products for eyecare doctors, optometrists primarily, although we do quite a few ophthalmologists as well. And it's really grown and taken off over the last 2-3 years with what I've been doing with systems training and leadership training and EOS through Santi and Christian and you guys.
So, going back to your business a little bit, your parents started it in the 70s, yet you are a software company. What did it look like back then? The company?
Well, in the 70s, we weren't, it started in 72. We weren't doing software. It was copiers, adding machines, then got into word processors. Then we got into medical billing software in 1982. And slowly the company went that way, and now we develop everything in-house. We used to be a reseller before, and it's just migrated over the years.
Yeah, it evolved into what you're doing now. And the reason why I asked that, it's very important for small business owners, actually large business owners and corporations, to understand this. If you do the same thing decade after decade, or it seems like year after year or month after month now, you will lose your business because you can't do business today that you did in 72, 82, 92, 2002, or maybe 2012, right? So it's an evolution. I assume that you had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I did just through kind of finding and stumbling into areas that needed more technology, better customer service. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that because I spent the first hour of my day-to-day talking with a mentor from the industry, talking about how to develop technology in our software platform that doesn't even exist yet. And trying to figure out how we can find a way to develop it and make it into existence.
And is that critical because of competition or because the industry, your clients, require it, or both?
The industry, like all healthcare, is moving towards ownership of the doctor. So the doctor, like your family practice doctors, and you see so often the hospitals are out there buying them up. That hasn't happened as much in optometry just because of the segment that they're in. They have not besides the medical portion, they have a lot of retail. But it's starting to happen. Insurance companies are buying up doctors. Venture capital is starting to do that. And we're really focused on keeping independent doctors independent. That's actually our mission. And with that being said, we've got to be able to help the independent with technology so that we can make them more profitable so that they can fight off the insurance companies, the venture capital companies, so that they can stay independent. Because I think everybody knows that an independent doctor is a better doctor. because they still have that love for their patient and that responsibility for that patient. So it's a necessity in the industry just to keep them moving forward and more profitable.
Yeah, no, I understand that. No one wants to go to a doctor and be treated like you're in a factory. And I've seen that before. In dentist office, they do a lot of that. You're like in a line and they're drilling and filling. And it's you sometimes in some of those offices you feel like you're just a unit, just a number. Okay, Howard Partridge, Inner Circle, phenomenal. When did you start with that?
Well, I tried to start right before COVID started. I was getting lined up, and I through reading a series of books, I kind of stumbled onto FTI. It's perfect for myself, perfect for our industry, because most doctors are S personalities. They don't necessarily have the drive to implement. But with COVID, our company and our business exploded because there were so many doctors who were like, well, I'm paying the staff. I've got a horrible technology. Now's a good time to flip the technology. So we exploded. So I kind of had to put it back burner because I just didn't have the time to invest. Fast forward a couple of years. So I guess we're really now in about our third year. We started off with systems training because I knew I needed to build systems.
Yeah. And if you don't have systems with a company of any size, especially a company your size that's been around so long, it becomes chaotic and very inefficient. And by investing in coaching, you can actually save money and have less stress. In the beginning, it might be difficult, but once you get going, it actually pays off, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've, through the systems training, working with Christian and working with Santi and Howard himself, we have totally revamped all of our management structure, totally revamped all the systems that needed. And originally, I wasn't going to start off with systems, but the explosion of growth that we had during COVID, I found that I needed systems training more than I needed leadership at that time. I had a very good leadership crew. We just didn't have the systems built the way we should have. During all of the systems training and talking with Christian, I read a book. I always tease Christian that it's like every time I talk to you, you've got 2 or 3 new books you want me to read. But anyways, with that being said, he had me read Traction.
Mm-hmm.
And through that process, after reading that book, talking with Christian, talking with Santi, we started the EOS implementation, and Santiago is our implementer. So, and that is the systems training is wonderful, but the EOS that we're implementing with Santiago has transformed my company into, we've got goals that we would have never thought imaginable before. And our staff is making more money than they have ever made before because of the things that we're able to do because of our implementation of EOS. And then we just recently moved into the leadership training.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you say that when you're doing things on your own as a business owner, as a team, you've got your leadership team and you guys are moving along in your business, don't you believe that it's beneficial to have someone from the outside take a peek at it and make you accountable?
Oh, gosh, yes. With systems, we were developing all the PRDs for the company, rewriting everything that we had. But in the very first day of the implementation of EOS with Santi, we were just giving him one area that we were kind of hung up on, and he gave us just a nugget of information that totally transformed how we did our PRDs and made it so much easier. And it was just because he doesn't know software development for eye doctors. He doesn't know anything about that, or billing for doctors. He doesn't know that. But he gave us a little bit of insight, and it it has really revolutionized our billing departments in ways that nobody else in the industry can do. Our billers can bill for more doctors than any other billing service is capable of doing. And it's all people working from home. And it was based on this one nugget of information. And every time we have a coaching call with Santi or with Christian, we get that one nugget. Or honestly, on a couple of our EOS implementations, we've had more than one nugget. But it's their outside influence that makes us think in a different way that totally changes things. Because if my leaders come to me asking questions, they're always going to get the answers that we've always done before, because that's kind of our mindset, where we ask Santi or our other coaches, and it makes us think of things in a different way, and it's really helped us grow.
Yeah. One of their jobs as a coach is to poke you, make you think, and throw a nugget at you. And you're like, hey, that's perfect for our business. Because to your point, coaches like Santi, Christian, Howard, any coach can't know everything about all businesses. And to be honest with you, your business isn't one where it's a big industry where someone says, I've got lots of experience in your space. It's probably relatively small compared to people who do roofing, HVAC, and accounting, right?
Absolutely. It's finding mentors and people in my industry that I can really talk to that are industry experts. They're out there. Mm-hmm. They don't always make the best coaches, but it doesn't lend itself to the business. Now, I understand with like the PRDs, it was designed a lot towards Howard's business, his original. But in even being that it's different from our business, it gave us ideas of how we could do things different. It doesn't have to be the same way. We don't have to be like every other software development company out there. And quite honestly, we don't want to be because they turn like the Titanic. And then a lot of them do end up hitting the iceberg and failing.
Yeah, well, most businesses actually do fail. Going back to 1972, that is incredible, actually, now that I think about it. You guys have been able to avoid icebergs. Most companies fail within 5 years. I think it's like 80 to 90% of them. If you look back over 100 years, the companies that were roaming the earth, it sounds like dinosaurs, right? The companies that were roaming the earth are almost all extinct. There's only a handful of big name companies that are still around. What is your secret to longevity?
A lot of hard work. My parents, they actually grew the company to be the largest copier dealer in a 5-state region. Actually, they took one of the brands, the largest in the nation, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, of all places. But recognizing that the industry is going to change, and you better change with it, or you're going to die. And a fierce desire to stay independent, and just be nimble. We're very lucky in that way that we've been able to do it for so long.
That's the real key, is to keep your eye on things, and you can't be arrogant either. You look at some of the great companies, Kodak always comes up. How could Kodak allow that to happen? And they were somewhat arrogant to an extent. Then they just got caught behind and just couldn't change. They couldn't turn that ship. And it was a big ship, and it's really not around anymore. Polaroid, another one. The brand is out there, but it's not the same company. Sears, Kmart. And you're like, wait a second, how could these big retailers like Sears and Kmart not make it? For the same reason why in our lifetime, Walmart probably will go out of business. It's just hard, right? So you have to kind of keep it close to you, keep an eye on what's going out there in front of you, and continue to learn and get outside coaching, because we know we can learn a lot on our own and we can have our own meetings in the boardroom and so forth. But, who from the outside is taking another look, who talks to many different business owners daily, weekly, and monthly, much as the people over at Howard's Group does. They're talking to all kinds of business owners. So there's all kinds of ideas that they get that they can apply with you.
Absolutely. And probably one of the biggest things that the reason I started going down the road with Phenomenal Products was that we were going to not only work with me, the owner, but all of my leadership team and make them feel like they're a part of a bigger thing. And that's what the systems training has done. And that's really what we have done now with EOS and the leadership trainings, because I'm nowhere without my staff. But if I walked out this door, got hit by a bus, I know that the company would be able to go on because I have a core group of leaders in my management staff that can run this without me.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to have that training, and I couldn't do it. I had to have Howard's help, Santi's help, Christian's help to build them up, because it's funny. I just did one of the reviews of one of my managers here a couple days ago, and she's like, it's really changed so much in the last couple of years. And she's been with me over 12 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, the first 10 years, we always had these great conversations. If we do this, or if we do this, or it'll make things great, and so on. Well, now through the systems training in EOS, we're doing it. And she's like, it's kind of weird. We don't talk as much as we used to, but we're doing so much more and we're getting so much further.
I'm thinking, so less lip service, less dreaming, more implementing.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we would not have had that without again, Howard, Christian, Santi.
Like I said earlier, accountability is good. When you invest in something such as coaching, you take things more seriously than saying, well, I'm just going to buy a book and read it. There's less accountability. And that's really part of it. We can do so many things. We as humans, we're very intelligent. And if we apply a little effort to the intelligence, or a lot of effort, we can do just about anything. So it's important to get up every day if you want to win and apply the ideas that you get and get help from coaches from the outside, for instance, where they poke you a little bit, give you an idea, and also say, you can do this when you don't think you can. They can push you a bit and say, honestly, you can do better, can't you? I think it's quite funny. Like that, right? But you get it, and you're like, you know what? I just got off this coaching call, and I'm going to go kick some butt now because he was right. I can do better. We can increase sales. We can increase profitability. We can have a better team. We can help our customers or clients better than we have in the past. And no matter what we're all doing, we could do 10 times better. Almost all of us. Elon Musk, maybe not. He kind of pushes it. But you know what I mean? There's so much potential. Yeah. And if we can get there more efficiently, because I think working hard is overrated. I think working smart is better. Some people say working hard is good. You don't always win because you work hard. You win because you do the right things and it all comes together. And so it's really important to put all the pieces together and have someone from Howard's team or the team itself help you in your business. What are your closing thoughts on the Inner Circle and Phenomenal Business Coaching?
My closing thoughts are, I'm an extreme D personality. Yeah. I don't like being bogged down with details. I want to be able to make my decisions and move on with my life. And I manage a lot by numbers. The guidance of the coaches for not just me, but for my team and the things that I have learned through phenomenal coaching or phenomenal products coaching. I have so much less stress. We are more profitable. My managers are still extremely busy, if not even busier than they were before, but they're happier. I can see it. I can see it in the communication that I do have with them. We're really enjoying it. And my customers are seeing it as well. I get a lot more compliments and a lot more comments from our customers. And I wouldn't be here and having those types of conversations if it wasn't for finding Howard's book, FTI, and going through the systems training and going through EOS and leadership. We'd be lost without it.
Yeah. And I want to thank you very much, Korrey, for joining me here on the Phenomenal Business Growth Podcast. And I hope to see you at the next Inner Circle conference event.
We will be there. We've already blocked it out and been getting ready to book flights. We just need as soon as the agenda's out, we'll book the flights.
Terrific. We'll see you then.
Thanks a lot, Jim.